welcome back to our special edition of Young Turks from Surge 2016. 5,000 attendees across 70 countries and hundreds of startups exhibiting here. Sayana, it's a startup heaven.
Absolutely, it is a startup heaven. One of the startups that caught our eye was a company called Ether Energy. Young guys who developed a smart scooter. Let's take a look at their story.
This is a pure electric scooter and it's very different than the electric scooters that exist in the market because we built it for a different target market. We have almost an order of magnitude more power. We have a battery which lasts almost 10 times longer. Charge time is almost 8 times faster. So we've got a 7-inch touchscreen dashboard. It syncs with your mobile app. It has onboard navigation. It has smart profiles. You can monitor a lot of specs, remote diagnostics.
And your distribution channels, is it going to be online? Is it going to be through Flipkart, who is Sachin and Binny are one of the investors in your company? Is it going to be online only?
So yes, it's going to be online only. However, at this point, I think it is very important for Ether to understand very well who are our customers and what they feel and how they respond and how they interact with us. So we are going to keep it focused on our own website. We obviously do not roll out moving and working with other platforms in the future, especially as we work at higher volumes.
Well, another entrepreneur who's around the same age as Tarun and Swapnil when he started out is Ritesh Agarwal of Oyo Room.
And Shruti, you had him on center stage on day 2 of Surge. Let's take a look at that panel.
With Oyo Rooms, you've pretty much reinvented the rules of the hospitality sector. You've brought in efficiency, predictability, which works to your advantage. So take us through some of the technology features that you've done at Oyo Rooms.
Till date, booking a hotel was almost like booking like a house, right? You go there, you see pictures, you see reviews, then you press a button, then they ask your name. Like it almost feels like you're filling your marriage application form. Very tough job. Whereas on the other side, I felt amazed when the cab companies showed up and you could press a button and get a cab. And I felt that in the same manner, why it doesn't make sense to find a reliable room in any part of the town every time you want to.
Yeah.
And I think that is why we created the experience in a manner where you should be able to press a button and in 5 seconds get a room.
Sure.
Which means today, majority of our reservations, 70 to 80% of our bookings comes 6 hours before check-in on our mobile app. Which means people are literally landing in the city saying, let me find the hotels around, press a button and they get a room.
Okay.
So I think that's been one very powerful trait. At the same time, the predictability component has been an extremely tough job. Imagine, being able to standardize 45,000 rooms across 160 cities and being able to manage that over and over again. And there are issues. It's not an easy job even today.
There's one huge criticism, and you just said that you hold too much inventory and you're expanding too soon.
So we started with 3 key promises. That's a promise now that will remain forever. Availability, predictability, and affordability. That means we will be available in every part of town, will be predictable, which means the quality of experiences can be expected, and it will be affordable, which means in the same area that hotel will be 30% cheaper than any other hotel you can find with a similar experience. Yeah. Adding as much supply was a promise of availability. Over time, the good news is, very similar to taxi models, we've been internally figuring out what is that quality of star rating, where you basically say that these hotels should not exist on the Oyo network. Which means if there are hotels which get less than 3-star rating of X number of reviews, you can actually say that these hotels don't deserve to be on our network. So, and we've been doing a lot of those and will announce a lot more.
There's also a lot of criticism about people not liking the rooms. You have 46,000 rooms to manage. Yeah. Sometimes there are service issues. So how do you tackle those problems?
We never expected when we were a 100 hotel thing a year back that hotel owners might say that the Oyo standardized rooms are so good that my walk-in guys, I'll sell them for a higher price the Oyo standardized room, and I'll get the Oyo guys the other rooms, right? Because it doesn't matter. But now we've been able to, in the last few months, literally map room-wise quality by means of which customer is checking in what room, by means of color, which means physically I know which room in the country is standardized to what level. You check in into a room, you get an SMS which says that, are you staying in this room number? If not, give us a missed call and we'll shut this hotel down.
So is this something you've just started doing?
So I think a lot of these have been experiments in the last few months.
Okay.
Reality is, this is a big problem. It is not something that is solved for, and we are still a startup. But it's important to remember that at the same time, in Gurgaon, today 55 to 60% of the users staying with us every night are our repeat users.
Okay.
On TripAdvisor, we still continue to rate more than 4-star on an average with more than 1,000 reviews every month. Okay. So it's important to remember that while there are criticisms, there's also significant amount of users who are saying that, they love what we're trying to do. I feel very happy to announce, and this, has not been shared anywhere, is we just signed up and it's just gone live, a partnership with IRCTC, which is
Wonderful,
possibly India's largest distribution, an exclusive partnership by means of which every traveler, every travel agent and every booking agent on IRCTC will essentially end up booking Oyo hotels exclusively because they believe that the predictable experiences that we deliver are pretty decent.
You've mentioned in a couple of interviews and you've said that any innovation in this space will lead to consolidation. So was the acquisition of Oyo Rooms a natural move for you, or was it investor driven? What made you acquire that company?
You know, here's the thing, right? I think consolidation in our space was inevitable because it's a network business.
Yeah.
Wherein the network who has the most amount of predictable hotels, customers will go there.
Yeah.
And because customers will go there, you can force the hotel to deliver the right experience because it's making so much money from you. I think specifically about any deal, I can't talk about it at this point of time. I'm sure you will appreciate it.
Okay.
But my belief is this is going to help the sector not from the perspective of just, valuation and so on. It's going to help the sector majorly from customer experience point of view.
Are you saying that it has added a lot of muscle power to Oyo Rooms and that will help you in turn compete with the big boys?
Look, I think...
Make My Trip has got Value Plus today. Go Ibibo, has Go Stays. So is this a way of competing with the big boys?
Let's say a imitator of Amazon or Uber in India is almost thinking always what will Amazon do next or what will Uber do next.
Yeah.
Here, almost everyone is saying what will Oyo do next.
Okay.
Which
so
means
you're saying you're not an underdog anymore?
No, I think we love being underdogs. We're still learning. We have a long way to go. Those guys are of course very successful companies, some in the public markets and so on. But in this specific segment where we solve the problem of finding a customer room 1 hour or 10 minutes in advance, which is a clean, comfortable room to stay, there we believe that we understand this place better than anyone else can.
The Zoho founding team has quit, and there have been reports that the team, including the investor Tiger Global, has a combined stake of 7% in Oyo Rooms. The deal was an all-asset sale. You're not liable for any of Zoho's dues. Your comments on that?
I'll come back to the same point. That is, consolidation at a lot of levels can happen in multiple forms.
Yeah.
But reality is, does it benefit everyone on the table? I think if it were to happen, I would believe that it will benefit everyone on the table.
Okay. You've been offering a lot of discounts on your website. I know you've got a lot of funds. You've got SoftBank has given you $100 million, over $100 million of funding. But till when do you plan to do this cash burn, or is there an alternate revenue model that you've thought of?
We possibly have the least amount of burn and comparatively better favorable economics. The first one is we don't have an international competitor breathing down our veins, right?
Okay.
Like we are those competitors. I think that enables a lot of value. The second thing is the market power with the kind of leadership that we have. The kind of market share that we have in this segment,
Yeah.
that possibly other than us, maybe Ola has in their segment. That just enables a pricing power. If you go on any product page of Amazon, they just enable one merchant to be on the top, to whom they give 95% business.
Okay.
But because they give the highest number of business to it,
Sure.
they get the best experience and the best price back. And there is this infinite loop that keeps going on.
Yeah.
In a network business, if you're able to give that much business to the hotel, you'll make money.
Yeah.
So at a lot of levels, if you're discounting customers, it is not always discounting from our pockets. We'd also be discounting from the pockets of our hotel owners because they also make a ton of money.
Talking about the international front, your first foray is in Malaysia. Why Malaysia, and what's the kind of traction? It's been just a month, but what is the kind of traction that you've seen so far?
When we thought about Kuala Lumpur, the question was Southeast Asia is a market very similar to India,
Yeah.
has a demand that can go from India. And we asked which is the place which has the least legal hassle, which is why we chose
So
Kuala
it's
Lumpur.
the same exact model that you are replicating in Malaysia.
I think it is same, but I think it's way more tech oriented because in India you can also call our call center and make a booking. But in Malaysia we are mobile only. In India you can still have a lot of web-based thing that happen, but there we do a little bit of web,
Yeah.
but still very mobile driven.
But you also have competition from Zen Rooms and Redoors.
We had competition in India 6 months back. So our focus this year is going to be India only. Southeast Asia is going to continue to remain an experiment and continue to grow. But our belief is once we know what are the 5 or 6 magic sauce elements that we do in international markets, we know how to expand. For 1 year we operated just in Gurgaon, and the next 1 year we were in 170 cities. So we understand the format of scaling up, and we are ruthless down to the last level there.
You're valued at $400 million. Tell me that one big thing that we should watch out for.
A strong upmarket experience segment that Oyo would be launching in the next couple of months. First, people were expecting that linen would be clean, rooms would be clean, TVs would be great, and so on. Our belief is now consumers are saying that rooms should be a little more plush, and we are willing to pay a $10 higher value to it. So our belief is that's going to be the next big thing in India, and hopefully will be on the forefront of innovation there.
Well, if I've read that, Shruti, it doesn't seem like he's shying away from acquisitions even in Southeast Asia to expand the brand Oyo, right?
Yeah, and we definitely have to keep a track on that one, and it's very encouraging to see like a young entrepreneur like Ritesh doesn't consider himself an underdog. On that note, I think it's time for a break. Stay tuned, there are lots of things coming up from Surge 2016.